Well, it is now time for weather with Nebraska Extension Ag climatologist and Market Journal's Chief Meteorologist, Al Dutcher. Well, Al, you warned us about the heat, and we did see that earlier in the week. We also saw some more severe storms with damaging hail. Are things going to be a bit calmer as we turn to the week ahead?
Well, Bryce, it's been a pretty wild week. We did have unfortunately, some pretty significant severe weather last Saturday, and then, of course, we've seen that big line that developed from Kearney all the way up to the Omaha area, just to the north of the interstate. That dropped some pretty significant wind and, unfortunately, a lot of significant hail. So we've had two major storm events that have in this last 7 days, and of course, we've had some other days where we had some scattered thunderstorm activity. We've had a lot of heat that's built up, and of course these higher dew points is just more fuel to the fire, especially when you see a cold front come through and we drop temperature 20 or 30 degrees. Somebody's going to get some severe weather. Now, unfortunately, I wish I could say we're going to stay cool for the next few days. It's been pretty well advertised. We're going to be into a fairly long stretch here of 95 to 105 degree temperatures across the state. And unfortunately, we're going to deal once again with some high humidity due to all the moisture that's fallen to the south of us, and of course, all the moisture to the north of us that's fallen during the spring period. So let's take a look at the upper models and see what we have in store. And the first thing I'll draw your attention is we got this big high pressure centered over this middle part of the country, big trough to our west, and that exiting trough that brought the severe weather to us earlier in the week, moving off the eastern seaboard. High pressure is firmly in place. We're not expecting to see anything in the way of precipitation across the region. We do have a good tropical feed coming up through the central mountains, and eventually that will have an impact on Nebraska. But as we get into Sunday, we'll start to see this trough slowly progressing to our region, and the ridge will slowly move to the east, but that's not going to do anything for temperatures. We're going to still stay consistently high. We see no precipitation in this region, all of it basically moving up through the central Rockies and up over top of the ridge. By the time we get to Monday, this trough starts to lift up towards southern Canada, and we'll see low pressure developing in northwestern portions of Kansas. Unfortunately, the atmosphere is probably going to be capped in regards to precipitation, so we're not going to see much in the way of convection outside of the northern Rockies. And then as we get into Tuesday, that trough starts to move over to the western Great Lakes, and it kind of flattens out the mean flow a little bit. So it's going to allow a little energy to run through to the north of us. But again, with that low pressure in Texas, we still don't have a lot of moisture. We'll watch this area on Tuesday for thunderstorm development. I think we'll see more widespread as we go through the overnight hours into Wednesday, as the broad flow starting to flatten out, so we'll see some quick movement. We're not seeing a lot here on this model because this is the morning model, but really we see the thunderstorm activity that's showing up here. This is kind of the result of the thunderstorms that are expected to develop Tuesday night into Wednesday, and they'll depart the state as we get on Thursday. This high pressure tries to build back in. We get low pressure up in southwestern South Dakota that potentially could generate some more moisture. We'll wait to see. The models are a little bit iffy on that. Major complexes will move across South Dakota, but I wouldn't be surprised we'll see that extend into Nebraska. And then on Friday, we see that zonal flow lifting a little bit toward the north, and we start to see some of that temperature warming back up. But we also will have a low pressure system over northwestern Kansas into north central Kansas that will actually bring some moisture up into the region. And we may start to see some thunderstorm development Friday night and then see this process move across the state as we get into next weekend. So the 8 to 14 day forecast keeps that heat in place. But in terms of precipitation, we do see above normal moisture our southwest. It would feed in to that zonal flow and moisture to our north. So it does look like we have a decent shot of moisture. Then we warm back up with another shot of pretty significant moisture chances as we get to the last few days of the month, according to the models as we see them today. So overall, enjoy the heat. It's going to be a humid one.